Vote counting gets underway following the African National Congress Party's leadership vote in South Africa. At-risk refugees pay it forward in the U.S. state of North Dakota. And a winter wonderland made of 2 million pounds of ice. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. We begin in South Africa this evening, where a tense vote count is underway on Monday as the African National Congress elects a new leader. Delegates from South Africa's ruling ANC party began voting early this morning for their new party chief in an election widely seen as picking the person likely to become the country's next president. Now, nearly 5,000 members of the ANC had been due to cast their ballots on Sunday in Johannesburg, but the process was delayed. The new party leader will succeed President Jacob Zuma, who is stepping down amid numerous corruption scandals. Zuma will remain president until nationwide elections in 2019. The candidates for ANC leader are Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa and former Cabinet Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, who was once married to President Zuma. The ANC has won a majority in every national poll since the beginning of democracy in 1994. For more insight on today's ANC election, joining me on the phone from Johannesburg, South Africa, is VOA's Anita Powell. Anita, give us some update on what's going on at this moment as we speak.
Vincent, I can hardly hear you, and that is because I am in the hall right now, where we are imminently going to learn who the next president of the ANC is going to be. As you said, it's going to be either Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma or Cyril Ramaphosa. But the tension here, you can cut it with a knife. It's loud, it's boisterous, and people cannot wait to hear the hotly anticipated results.
Can anybody get a sense of what is the preference of people, either inside or outside of that plenary?
Sorry, Vincent, can you ask me that again, please?
Is there any idea of what perhaps is a majority's preference for the leader of the ANC party?
If you're asking me if I have any idea who's in the lead in this extremely tight race, the answer is no. We have no idea. That's why this is such a tense moment in South African history, not just in South African political history, in South African history, period.
Why is it a tense moment? Why is it that critical?
Well, the two candidates could not be more different. Cyril Ramaphosa is the deputy president. He's very pro-business. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma has not said very much about her policy. We get the impression that she's going to be quite a lot more left-wing. Most importantly, though, she is the former wife of current, very unpopular President Jacob Zuma. And she is seen as not just a continuity candidate, but a colluding candidate who will forgive all of Zuma's alleged transgressions, which include a number of corruption scandals.
Many have been saying Cyril Ramaphosa as being kind of removed from the masses, is more elitist. Is that anything that might really be of a big impact on the decision to elect him?
Vincent, I'm going to interrupt you just to tell you what I'm seeing right in front of me right now. And that is South African President Jacob Zuma, who is dancing on the main stage. There are about 10,000 people in this hall. He's singing and he's dancing. And what that tells us is that we are going to be learning very soon. Yes, the markets right now are anticipating a win for Cyril Ramaphosa. As I said, he's more business-friendly, and his win would be seen as being preferential to the South African rand, which is the currency. But as I said, it's a tense moment and a very colorful moment here.
Well, it looks like we will just keep waiting, and hopefully we get to know what goes on down there in Johannesburg in a few minutes. Anita, thank you very much. That's VOA's Anita Powell reporting from Johannesburg. Now back into the East Africa region. Now at least 61 people are reported to have been killed in clashes between different ethnic groups in Ethiopia's Oromia region. Authorities say 29 Oromos and 32 Ethio-Somalis died in the West Hararge zone where the clashes happened. The latest bout of violence highlights the increasing stability in the province that was racked by bloody protests in 2015 and 2016. Officials say trouble began last Thursday when 29 ethnic Oromos were killed by ethnic Somali attackers in the region's Hawi Godina and Daro Lebu districts. The violence triggered revenge attacks by ethnic Oromos in another district. 32 Somalis died in those attacks. Authorities say they're working to bring the perpetrators to justice. The clashes are likely to fuel fears about security in Ethiopia, the region's biggest economy and a staunch Western ally. Now, joining us by phone from Ethiopia is Eskander Farrow, a reporter based in Addis Ababa. Good evening, Eskander.
Good evening, Macaulay.
Now, in the midst of this, we hear that for the first time the government has actually come out to acknowledge that there are clashes and that people have died. Can you give us some updates?
In the message where Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn extended his condolences to the families and friends of the victims, he also gave an update on the conflict between the two regions, along the border between the two regions, Oromia and Somali regions. According to him, there was a mass murder in Western Hararghe against Ethiopian Somalis who were sheltered at a police station for their safety. He didn't mention a number, but said the government will investigate the killing, announcing the formation of a task force for this purpose.
Now,
it was just last week.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, McCoy.
Yes, we know that these clashes have been going on for some time now. Has there been any effort by the government, like to put a kind of a buffer zone, like government soldiers in between these communities?
You know, the Prime Minister said there was improvement in the process of finding a solution to the conflict until the Chilinko incident happened last week. He said the federal government will work with the regional governments for, a lasting solution to the conflict. Ethiopia's federalism is structured along ethno-linguistic lines. These two regions share a border of more than 1,400 kilometers. Disputes and conflicts over resources, including wells and grazing land, are not new along this border. But nothing on this scale have been reported in that area, Makori. And, Ethiopia has a long history of tolerance and living together. And many are confused to see what's happening. And it seems there are more questions than answers right now.
Is there any kind of speculation that perhaps politics has a part to play here?
There are all sorts of speculation from different sources, Makori. But for most people, there are more questions than answers right now, and especially regarding the killings, there is a wait and see approach by most people, and there are different speculations from different sides. It depends on who you talk to.
Okay. Well, we just hope the killings will stop. That was Eskander Farrow reporting from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Well, it's International Migrants Day, and around the world, more than 244 million people are living outside the country of their birth. There are more migrants today than at any other point in human history. Every year, the United Nations uses this day to raise awareness about migrants' rights. This year's theme is Safe Migration in a World on the Move. A massive wave of migration is moving through Libya. Most migrants are fleeing armed conflict, persecution, or severe economic hardship in sub-Saharan Africa. Reports of migrants being sold as slaves in Libya caused outrage recently, prompting protests in Europe, condemnation from the African Union, and an unofficial investigation. The International Organization for Migration estimates there are 700,000 to 1 million migrants in Libya. Many suffer abuse in overcrowded detention centers run by smugglers on the Libyan coastline. More than 2,000 migrants have died at sea this year alone. Now, one of Nigeria's largest oil unions has launched an indefinite nationwide strike. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria is unhappy over the laying off of its workers. It's locked in a dispute with domestic oil and gas companies. Talks between the two sides reached a deadlock on the weekend. The union, whose members mainly work in the upstream oil industry, has asked the government to force those companies to recall their laid-off workers. It says the oil and gas firms have ordered mass layoffs, but the union has not said how many. The government has begun a new round of talks aimed at resolving the dispute. The strike could hit Nigeria's oil production and dent exports as they did last year during the union's action against ExxonMobil. Nigeria is Africa's largest crude exporter. Its oil output has been volatile over the past 2 years due to militant attacks, pipeline theft and sabotage, as well as industrial action. Now, a restaurant run by a team of young disabled people is challenging perceptions in the Moroccan capital of Rabat. VOA's Faith Lapidus reports.
The specialty at Hadaf Solidarity is not the food, although it's good. It's the staff. The restaurant provides hands-on vocational training for young people with learning disabilities in all aspects of the food industry. In the kitchen, chefs prepare everything from salads to entrees to desserts. In the dining room, the wait staff takes care of the customers.
I learned how to take orders from clients, how to seat them, and how to behave with them. In the past, I could not do all this because I was shy, but today, I'm fine, thank God. When this restaurant opened, I learned how to talk to the clients. It is a big step for me, and I hope to do better in the future.
The restaurant, which is open 3 days a week, is run by the Hadaf Association of Parents and Friends of the Mentally Handicapped at its center in Rabat. Sefer founded the association in 1997 when her daughter turned 21 to provide psychological and educational support for other young disabled people who were often excluded from society.
We thought about this project, which is an opening to the outside world. We opened this restaurant so that people could come in and enjoy nice recipes cooked by these young people who put their hearts and souls and all that they have into their work.
In addition to giving their clients the confidence and opportunity to engage with society, they also wanted to change the way people perceive those with disabilities. And it seems to be working, according to Najat Tamsamani, who's become a regular customer.
When we came to this restaurant, we were surprised by these young men and women and how they behave with the clients. We see that they have capabilities and abilities and that they are doing very good work.
Hadaf, which means target or goal in Arabic, is achieving its goals. The association has been able to integrate 15 young people so far into outside workplaces. I'm Faith Lapidus, VOA News.
Well, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our show live on Facebook. So check us out and share our show with your friends. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince McCory. Now coming up, how refugees are giving hope this holiday season to others most in need. Stay with us.
This is a country that I chose to become a citizen. I didn't have to become a citizen. I chose to become a citizen.
I feel like America gave me an opportunity to pursue my passion as an artist.
I really believe that clean eating is a way to a more successful life, or a happier life, if you want to put it that way.
One of the things that helps me wake up every morning is doing better, being better.
We grew up poor, and so I'm always focused on helping the working class be able to have a more comfortable lifestyle.
I'm passionate about doing justice every day. I oftentimes say that justice is a verb, not a noun. You know, I believe in action and moving the ball forward.
How do you see the world?
I see countries in turmoil.
I see our planet changing.
I see people at peace.
No matter how you see the world, you'll get an unbiased and uncensored view of it on Voice of America. On television, radio, online, and mobile, in more than 40 languages all day, every day. Millions of people tune us in.
How do I see the world? On Voice of America.
Well, full power was restored early Monday morning at the world's busiest airport in the U.S. city of Atlanta after a sudden power failure disrupted all flights in and out of the hub the day before. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport was without power for about 10 hours before crews restored power for what state utility giant Georgia Power called all essential services. All incoming flights were diverted to other regional airports, while departing flights were cancelled, leaving passengers stranded in terminals or stuck on grounded airplanes.
I literally spent a whole 7 hours on an airplane without food or water, and then they finally let us off. And then I walk into a dark room where everyone's sleeping on the floor. And I still haven't gotten my confirmation. I was on phone with Delta for about 2 hours, still nothing. I was like, I need to get reimbursed for this. At this point, I just want to go back to my hometown. I don't even want to do this anymore.
Well, other flights scheduled to fly into Atlanta are being grounded until late Monday. Georgia Power believes the problems were linked to a fire that caused extensive damage to one of its underground electrical facilities, as well as the circuit cables that serve the airport. Delta Airlines, which is headquartered in Atlanta, canceled about 900 flights on Sunday and another 300 on Monday. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport has more than 2,500 daily arrivals and departures, bringing more than 250,000 passengers. The U.S. state of North Dakota is one of the leading resettlement locations per capita for refugees coming to the United States. Every year, about 400 refugees arrive in larger cities like Fargo, where they are gradually reshaping the ethnic and cultural makeup of their adopted hometowns. As viewers Eskander Farrow reports, the transition for refugees in this northern state is not always easy, but some who have overcome adversity are giving hope this holiday season to those in need.
Winter has come to Fargo, North Dakota, where 16-year-old Nepali refugee Pooja Chetri
We have 7 boxes of picto beans.
and 18-year-old South Sudanese refugee Maria Tuya are stocking up for the season.
Same thing.
The food packages they carry could go a long way to feed their families.
Sometimes we don't have that much to eat, Usually there's a box of cereal.
It's definitely sometimes a struggle when I open the fridge, there's not much we could, pick from.
But what they lift,
oh God, so heavy,
sort,
peanut butter,
and stack is not going into their cupboards at home.
If you have more than 4 people in your family, you can take 2 of each thing.
This is food they are giving away.
When they're coming through the door and going out, they're so delightful. There's so much gratefulness in their face expression. Just know that they're getting little hopes each day when you're handing these food out.
This pop-up food pantry is in part an answer to Fargo's need, where almost 15% of the population lives below the poverty level. Well, this exercise in giving was conceived and executed by refugee students, including Chetri and Tuya. It is one of the many lessons in life sponsored by the Legacy Children's Foundation, which
is an after-school resource to help at-risk kids, low-income students receive the resources they need to graduate from high school.
Executive Director Mary Jean Dean says the organization isn't focused solely on refugees, but they are often the ones with the greatest need.
They really are challenged with feeling like they're fitting in. They look different, they talk different, they have a different dialect. They don't always understand exactly what the teacher wants, so there's lots of questions, there's peer pressure.
When you see people in your grade level and you're not there, you're so far behind and you're taking out of class regularly, it just hurts. And yeah.
This place helped you?
Yes, it did. It helped me very much.
Thanks to Legacy's programs, which include English lessons, math tutors, and speech therapy sessions, both Chetri and Tuya
Should we use these protein bites?
are among a growing group of success stories.
Honestly, if this program didn't exist, I wouldn't be here. I don't know, what would I be doing?
Not only has it helped me with like school and like, you know, education, it's also helped me with like leadership skills and like confidence.
Skills and confidence which motivate them to pay back legacy by paying it forward. Not just at the pantry,
always good to see you,
but also at area homeless shelters, where they bring warm food, warm blankets,
Thank you
so much.
You're welcome.
and hope.
When someone is helping you do better, you just want to give back and make someone's life better. Just small kindness can go a long way.
A long way in making North Dakota's long, cold winter nights a little bit warmer for those struggling this holiday season, thanks to some of its newest and grateful neighbors. Kane Fairbaugh, VOA News, Fargo, North Dakota.
Well, it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54. In the United States capital, a winter wonderland. We'll be right back.
In South Africa, the ruling ANC party members vote to choose their next leader after repeated delays to a ballot seen as a key moment in the country's post-apartheid history. The Higher Council of Islamic Affairs of Gabon strongly condemns the knife attack that wounded 2 Danish nationals in the Gabonese capital, Libreville. The first of 3,000 African migrants that French President Emmanuel Macron is to welcome before the end of 2019 arrive at Roissy Airport near Paris. In Nigeria, oil unions launch a nationwide strike over the laying off of its workers, causing delays and long lines at gas stations.
Welcome back to Africa 54, and here's what's trending. 2017 is the year that artwork sold for record figures at auction, including Da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, which went for $450 million, while Abu Dhabi's new Louvre Museum opened after a decade-long wait. And the 100th year of the Russian Revolution was marked by special art exhibits around the globe. Art exhibits featured works inspired by politics, shifting attitudes about gender identity, and the impact of social media on society. 2016 was a year when some artists moved their work from galleries to the great outdoors and even underwater. Next up, from over-the-knee crystal boots for $10,000 to fountain pens for nearly 3 times that much, Beverly Hills is a place to head for luxury gifts this holiday season. Retailers are hoping the baby boomers and millennial market will boost sales of high-end goods. Shoes, jewelry, and bags remain their fastest-growing luxury categories, according to consultant Bain & Company's annual global luxury study. Luxury purchases sagged after last year's sluggish economy and uncertainty surrounding the U.S. presidential election. And finally, the number of Britons cutting down on their meat consumption is on the rise, and there is a new name for this growing trend: being Flexitarian. A flexible vegetarian means reducing your consumption of meat in favor of more vegetarian food. The rise of flexitarianism in Britain means plenty of meat eaters are getting much more interested in the kinds of food on offer at this vegan food festival in London. Some foodies say the trend is being spurred on by growing concerns about health, the environment and animal welfare. And that is what is trending today. It's a winter wonderland near Washington, D.C. this holiday season, as it has been for 9 years. It's an exhibit called Ice, and to it took more than 2 million pounds of ice to create sculptures that fill a huge indoor park. Viewers, Eunjung Cho has more.
Ready, set, go!
Riding on a giant two-story ice slide seems to get people into the holiday spirit. It is part of the ice exhibit at the Gaylord National Resort near Washington, D.C. In its 9th year, this winter wonderland is kept at a chilly -13 Celsius.
The slides are they're ice, and you don't find that everywhere, and I think it's amazing that they could make a slide out of ice.
The rides are fun and popular with children and also the young at heart.
Oh, I think they're grown-ups as well, especially those of us who love to be little kids again, who never got enough of having fun. So it's great. I love it. My husband, he likes to see me happy and act like a little girl.
More than 2 million pounds of ice are used to carve out scenes from Christmas favorites like the movie Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The 1,400 square meter indoor park is packed with colorful ice sculptures.
I think they're just blown away by these colorful sculptures. It's not something that you would typically see when you hear of ice sculptures. You think of the clear ice and you see these vibrant colors. We have 14 different colors in the show, so I think that just is like awe. Like, a lot of people don't believe it's real when they're walking through, so it's definitely a sight to see. And then we do end our scenes with a nativity scene, which is all crystal clear ice.
35 artisans from Harbin and Inner Mongolia, China, famous for ice and snow sculptures, traveled all the way to the U.S. to create this exhibit. It took them more than a month.
Even though it makes me very tired, I have no complaint. After we finish ice, you look at it and you see people enjoying it. It gives me great satisfaction, and I am proud in this job.
200,000 visitors are expected this year. Eunjung Cho, VOA News, Washington.
Well, and that's our show for today, and I'll be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show Africa News Tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings, Today Break Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching. From all of us in Washington, have a good night.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Removing a pea or nut from its pod is called shelling. But what does it mean to do this?
To shell out.
Did you see that diamond ring on Marcy's finger?
I did. How much did Dave shell out for that?
I heard it was $10,000.